Welcome, everybody. We are back. Wow, we missed a week. I know everybody missed us. I missed you guys. So welcome back, everybody.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, we missed each other, and we missed you, audience member.
And Kat didn't miss anybody.
Just waiting.
No, I don't care. Hi, everybody.
Now.
He's like, God, you just twisted my arm. I'll be here. That's fine.
It's kind of like that, but hey, you know, as long as you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, kind of thing. So,
Well, you've just been
Fair
tearing up X lately, Kat. You and Matt both have just been posted left and right and left and right and up and down.
Well, how many posts do you do a day, Kat? I'm really curious about that. Like 500, maybe
1,000
600.
million. I don't know. I mean, I feel I haven't really posted. Like, it's so quick to make a post. You just look at the chart and you're like, oh, that's something cool, and then you just put a few sentences. It's like easy. So I don't know why people don't do that more often. I guess they're maybe like have some worry, like was it paralysis by what is it? I don't know. Anyway,
Analysis by
yeah,
paralysis.
something like that. Yeah, tracker paralysis. I don't know, but anyway, it's one of those things that it's not hard to do. You see something, just post it, see whether it sticks. You know, it's how you learn. But yeah, so I've been doing that. I haven't really been doing anything different. But yeah, gonna keep doing
Well,
it.
there you go. Yeah,
Well, yeah.
keep it up. Yeah, it's working for you, buddy. Good job. All right. Well, I guess there's still a lot of fear out there in the markets, and we're here to alleviate those fears, hopefully. And I guess since I have the weekly chart pulled up here this is the monthly chart pulled up for IWM. We can talk about this first. And Tracker ran away, but he just joined again, I guess.
No, that's my second.
Oh, that's your second. Okay.
Video.
All right, fair enough. Well, yeah, so IWM, it's been a battle. Like, I just have this monthly chart. I want to just show it to you guys. You can just see, just draw a line right here, and look at that. It's really, 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 really trying to break into all-time highs. It did get there intra-week, but so far we don't have any kind of daily closes above it or any kind of weekly close. Actually, we did have a daily close above it, really, the previous high right there on Thursday of last week, but we haven't had any weekly closes above it yet. Just a bunch of wicks. So is this going to be the week to do it? Do you think so, Kat?
Yeah, totally.
That doesn't sound convincing. I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all.
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, we totally, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for that, and I think the whole market is waiting for that too. I think crypto is waiting for that too, and once it happens, I think some real fun could start to begin. But in the meantime, they're making people scared of everything, right? They're making people scared with crypto right now. They're making people scared with Coinbase right now. They're making people scared with just these back tests, but I'm not scared. I think it's going to be a beautiful thing once it goes higher. We can even add on like the Ichimoku here. We can even talk about the Bollinger Bands as well, how they are still not expanding even on the weekly chart. But when you look at the monthly chart, it's not expanding either, right? So I think we're just waiting for this blast off into all-time high territory. And once it happens, I think it's going to be glorious. And this is what I don't understand. I don't understand why there's max fear, maybe not max fear, but there's a lot of fear when it's about to break out. It just doesn't make any sense. It's usually the opposite. There's usually a lot of fear when it's looking like it's going to break down. But this time, people are thinking it's the top. They think it's not going to go higher. And all signs are pointing to me that things are still looking mighty, mighty fine.
Yeah, people just get they see the SPX at all-time highs and think, oh no, this is going to be a big top. It's going to have a big like 20% drawdown next, and we're not there yet. That's not the condition that we're in. I like that fractal that you pulled of it was the IWM, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the IWM. In fact, it was from the COVID, the 2020 low. Yeah. From the low here. Yeah, I can just pull it up. Like essentially, if we just do a little tiny fractal right here, it's kind of mimicking it right now from the COVID low right here.
Those spiky wiki bottoms are very similar.
Yeah. And it's like it stopped out at the exact same moment too that it is stopping out at right now too. So I think just give it a few more weeks, maybe end of the month, maybe beginning of October. I don't know. But it looks to me the way things are working out right now, I think October is going to look pretty juicy to me.
Did you have RWM at? Well, I mean, fractal is not always like exact, but is it like in the 380s? Or
Yeah, if you match the COVID low like right here, that would be like 400, like yeah, like 408 right there.
My heart can't handle that. But,
Yeah, but you probably do have to scale it so the wicks are about the same height.
Yeah, I did scale it because the wick is the
Oh.
bottom right there. So yeah,
Okay.
right down here, it's the same.
Yep, got it.
Yeah, so does that mean 380, 400? I mean, maybe it does, but I mean, either way, this is kind of mimicking exactly what COVID did, because COVID, before it went into all-time highs right here, actually, no, it kind of just blasted through all-time highs, but it did stop out a few months, 3 months in a row, just right on top of the Ichimoku cloud back in 2020 before it took off. So it's a little bit different of a situation, but ultimately, this top right here back in November of last year, that was the fake out, but I think this is the real deal. And I think it's about to be fun for a lot of things right when everybody's getting scared again. I think that's a perfect timing.
Yeah, I'd like to show my VIX chart. And let's see. Thanks. So here's my, it's the volatility index, the VIX. As the VIX goes lower and lower, volatility is settling down and people are doing more buying. And then when things get really scary, like they did on August 5th, 2024, the VIX does a big spike. And then, people go into absolute panic mode and they just like start going to cash. They'll sell all their positions. And that's exactly what you see, like the inverse of like on the indexes and basically every stock. Here again in April 7th week, that was pretty much the low. That was the bottom for almost anything that you looked at this year. After the big like holiday sell-off, the end of 2024, we had a sort of a sell-off December 11th. Or I'm sorry, December 17th, and then again, through January, and then it got bad in March, and then April 7th was just the absolute worst. And that was when we had all the tariff threats coming out left and right. Anyway, what you can notice that I've drawn on here is that after things initially settled down from April 7th, they kind of came screaming back in. I did do a retracement here from the 0%. Let's see, what do we call this 100%? I'm trying to think. I think I just went from absolute panic to fear-ish. And then I got this 127 is kind of right where the volatility index went to on this 8-hour chart here in May. Then it backtests this level here. And then from before April 7th, and then right here after April 7th in May, I was able to establish a trend line, and it's pretty much held up that trend line, even here with August 4th this year. And now it's working on a slightly lower trend, which I've also drawn a line from using this June 19th spike and then September 2nd spike. And it really, what you see is it's calming down more and more. And what used to be, I called this the take profits line, because usually every time the VIX hit this level, that was a good place to take profits. And then, it would run back into fear or past greed. You'd want to buy again. Well, ever since April 7th, we've been in this channel right here, and you could pretty reliably, I even made a post today when the VIX spiked and made a new slightly higher high than on the September 17th. And then just today we had this big spike right here. I said, oh, I see opportunities everywhere. And there were a lot of places. I bought some more. I actually sold my CoreWeave calls here and bought them back this morning. Let's see, these are 8-hour candlesticks, so it's not really broken the day up in two parts. But really, you could draw this exact same line for yourself. I've shown this many times, and it said just copy what I've got here. It's not necessarily the take profits line now, because we keep bouncing under it, and then we get lower highs, and then we're going to see lower lows for a while. And you can see where it really went back here in 2024. This is the end of 2024. This is all 2020. No, I'm sorry. This is the end of 2023, which, as you guys remember, 2023 was kind of a rough year for stocks, but then 2024 came roaring back. So yeah, look for nothing crosses extreme greed. I went back and I went back and like there's no well except here in 2017, 2018 it went down to 8.5. Is that what we're gonna see? I don't know, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the VIX testing back to this extreme greed line. I mean, we absolutely ran away from it in July 19th of 2024. But maybe this time we'll kind of at least see a little bit of, a little bit of bowing under here. And I don't know, maybe the conditions, maybe Cat will tell. Maybe Cat will tell us if he thinks that anything like now feels anything like, or what's the charts look like in 2017 through 2018 here. And with that, Cat, would you like to pick it up from here?
What do you mean 2017, 2018? You mean the overall market or the VIX, or what were you referring to?
If the global market showed a big plug, so.
Well, I was totally unprepared for that question. Though. Let's see.
I know, like I'm putting it on the spot. 2017. What happened is it was just a nice continuation of 2017. It just went steadily up for a while. So maybe that's what we'll get. Maybe we'll get if the VIX stays low long and strong, we just get a nice steady run here. Maybe price will just stay right on this this channel line here. This FIB channel. Anyway, that's what I want to show. Just copy this VIX chart. Copy these same number levels down here. Extreme green 10.57. The take profits line, which really now, like I said, it's not necessarily take profits. It's just more like back in 2023, 2024, you want to take profits below there. Now it's just kind of like maybe we're gonna push down into here. Actually, I meant to say we'll probably bow into this, but it could come down into here. But anyway, almost nothing ever goes below 1057. Except for, like I said, back here in 2017 to 2018, where the SPX just ran straight for a while. Well, anyway, if you want to pick up from here. Otherwise, I've got the segment I wanted to do tonight was just talk about a little bit of how I do. So my TA.
Yeah, your mic is really staticky right now. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the issue is with that. But yeah, I mean, Kat, do you want to talk about what he was talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I can pull up my market charts here and try to find some potential, like, correlate or any fractal or anything like that. The way I see it, this is the SPY. I think if you're kind of making past correlation in terms of what was happening before, I basically see three major, like one here. The one over here is around 2011, 2012. Here's around 2015, 2017. Here's around 2018, 2020. Here is around 2022 to 2023. And I think every single time when you have something like that going on, usually you have a little bit of bull market. Like here, during this consolidation over here, the bull market just kept on going for about 2.5, 3 years, until you have another period consolidation. Here, when you have a period consolidation, it just kind of kept on going for about 3 years, right? I think we just had a big giant cup over here for SP 500. And we're kind of starting to go up here. I think we've gone maybe a year straight up. And we have a huge correction. The index already dropped 20%. And we have a V-shaped recovery. And I think we might be on the verge of having further continuous bullish continuation here. I don't really see any reason for it to not do that. And also, this is like the IWM. I think this chart is very, very similar to yours, Matt. And I tend to maybe more correlate. If tracker, you're thinking about this current region right here in late 2025, maybe a little bit more similar to maybe the late 2016, early 2017 area, I think you might be correct, because this is a huge base over here, and this is even a bigger base over here. And if we end up getting a decent breakout candle over here. I think it could potentially run up here for quite some time. Might be for like a year, maybe for 2, you know. Over here, once it broke out above this previous all-time high here with a gap up, we haven't filled this IWM gap, by the way. The Russell 2000 has not filled this gap back from like January 2013, which is kind of insane. I don't think that gap would ever get filled until like apocalypse come. But anyway, it really has just been going for like 2 years straight. Here it goes on 2 years straight. After that, here it goes on for maybe another year with this big pump up, you know, with this God candle over here. It goes on for another year. We haven't really broken above the previous all-time high here quite just yet to close the month. I do think that once we're able to do that, and it looks like we might be on the verge of doing that, if not this month, sometime over the next couple of months, it looks like we have enough momentum to kind of push through. Once you break that, and people are still bearish right now, it can keep going on for a long time. Like, people can keep climbing without worry for a long time. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Now, if you want to correlate that with the VIX, I guess it's a little bit hard to do because the VIX is just really, you know, hard to chart based on cycles, you know. But we could be entering a period of time where, you know, we have a few peaks over here, kind of like we have a couple of peaks over here in 2015, 2016, have a couple of peaks over here in 2020. We could be entering a wedge kind of like we did over here. I think it's possible, right? Like, there's nothing to say it's not possible because we already had a lot of huge volatility on the way up. So I think we might be entering a time of complacency where the VIX could actually continue to drop. I'm not surprised if it ends up going to the single digits here. But we'll see. I mean, I'm only here to kind of, you know, speculate here. The only other thing too, I do have like an ARK chart here, you know, Cathie Wood stuff here. It is hitting resistance here so far. I think it's just the reason why we got rejected here today from FOMC, whatever people are scared about. But look at this. Like, there's no way that this chart is bearish, right? Higher highs, higher lows, very parabolic looking. It's just hitting the right resistance here. It's been about 2 months trying to break through the ARK here. We might spend another month or two trying to break through the ARK. We'll see, right? But if you also just kind of, you know, take this ARK away here, you look at the Bollinger Bands expanding like crazy. There's a huge volatility move to the upside here that looks like it's just probably going to continuing. And we also, at this point, challenging the 0.618, which is also part of the reason why we're having a hard time really kind of breaking through right now, right? So as far as I'm concerned, we are at resistance, but this is a very, very huge, we got a lot of momentum going, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I just want to say the word huge for no reason. But I just don't really see the market being bearish. Look at TQQQ here is making all-time high. In what world is it bearish when TQQQ is making all-time high? Like, it makes no sense to me. If you look at the Bollinger Band, it looks like it's about to expand over here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about like Palantiring candidates. I actually think that TQQQ is one of the candidates, which I can probably talk a little bit about later on in the show. But yeah, here we are talking about the market. You know, what about the one thing that Matt was also talking about, the semiconductors? Like, you have these all-time high crazy candles going up on the upside here with a little bit of potential Bollinger Band expansion over here. Like, it just looks like it's at the beginning of something great. It doesn't really look like it's the top of the market. Like, I don't understand what other people are seeing, but I guess I've been around long enough over the last few years to know that people don't have to know what the hell they're talking about to talk. So I'm not saying that I'm right all the time, but I'm just saying, like, I don't understand the logic that's going out there half the time. And I've learned to accept that, and I learned to not pay attention to my feet. But that's I'm going to end with that, Matt. I'm going to let you take over before I get myself in trouble.
Yeah, like, just to expand on that, there's so many people out there, I think, that are just guessing, right? They're just, a lot of people like, oh, the market's rallied for a few weeks, I think it's time to sell off now. It's like, that's like you go to a casino, oh, there's 17 reds in a row on roulette, I guarantee you it's going to be black. I mean, it's still going to be the same odds, you know? Yeah, it's that's what I see all the time on X, and it's kind of frustrating to me because it's more of an opinion than it is technical analysis. But just to go to show my SMH chart and to address a question as well about when do we know things are topping. But it's basically, when I look at my SMH GAN here, topping situations, they don't break levels, right? They don't break levels. And sometimes if they do break levels, it could be just a fake out and then go back below. levels. But this one looks like it's a real deal, right? You can see this 45-degree angle right here acted as mostly a resistance throughout the history of this chart of the SMH, right? Especially all through 2012 to 2015, huge resistance. Even up here, 2018, huge resistance. And it only briefly got above it back in 2021, and then it just fell apart. And that's one way to know how it's a top two. Things flipped to resistance, like this 45-degree angle came back up, flipped it to resistance, went lower, right? So that was one way. But now we're just seeing things break out, right? The SMH is breaking into all-time highs. It looks like it just wants to continue higher and higher and higher. We can put a little bit of a fib here just to show you guys what's it looking like. And it did hit resistance, right? It hit the 325.13. So yeah, are things at resistance? Yes. And this is kind of why we saw some things sell off today, like NVIDIA. It sold off. Why? Because it's also at previous all-time highs. And the SMH is at resistance right now on a weekly chart, right? And somebody wanted to look at AMD. Yeah, we can look at that too. And AMD, it looks great. It's just inside of a range here between the 164 and the 149. But the AMD has been hitting resistance basically for the past month in a row. So this is why things are also not going higher. But now AMD actually looks a lot better in the lower time frames. I think it can go higher, right? And going back to my IWM GAN as well, I wanted to show you this. It broke above and already back tested the blue level, and that was during July, right? Breakout back test, and now it's continuing higher. It's almost like, I think I've shown this before on the show. It's kind of like back here, how it kind of like broke above like back here in 2011 was equivalent to December of last year, just a little bit extended, and then it came back down to the 45, just like here. And then it came back down to the 45-degree angle back in April, and then it finally broke free. And I think we're experiencing something very similar to where we saw right here from 2011 and 2012, right? I think this is the similar time period with a V bottom here, and then it stopped out at the arcs a little bit right here, which it could do the same thing here. But that kind of means that, you know what, it could go higher. And again, going back to that fractal that I showed you guys too from the March low, we can just pull it up here and you can just overlay it from currently. And we can see it actually follows the future market symmetry pretty well, right? If you pull it on the bottom right there, right? It goes up to the arcs, trickles down the arc as support, then break out V bottom back to the 45 and maybe goes higher, right? So it's just an interesting fractal idea right there with this chart. But also, how did you know it was a market top before? Well, it never broke resistance back in 2007. That was the top. Crashed, right? Never really broke back in 2011. Broke down and crashed, right? Same thing back in 2018. Never could break the arc. Went back. Right here in COVID, never could really successfully break the arc. It tried for a few weeks, a few months, but then it crashed, right? This is how you kind of recognize if things are real or not. If they flip things to support for a long enough period of time, then it could be real. But right here was a very long time for IWM. Right here, it was basically from 2021 to 2022, like a whole year of trying to flip this blue level to support. But in actuality, it just didn't have enough oomph to break out into all-time highs. It tried a little bit, but then it immediately collapsed. And once you saw this formation right here, a breakdown flipping to a resistance right here in March of 2022, that was confirmation enough that it's going to be a bear market right there. That's how when things confirm that a previous support flips to resistance, that's how you know, like, okay, let's probably not be bullish anymore, right? And that would have been a perfect time. You would have avoided all that long pain until it really just got down to the 45-degree angle. Then you could be like, okay, now let's get interesting again and buy back in, right? And that would have been a good time because that's just to slowly grind higher. So that's basically how I identify everything right there. But essentially, I think, just like Kat, I think everything is poised to go higher, but I also think everything is kind of at a resistance zone this week, even including the SPY too. We can just go to the SPY and pull up a fib right here. From here to here, we can see that we got the 677 right above. But if you go to linear scale, guess what? It hit the 667 right there. So we did hit resistance on every single chart. The IWM, previous all-time high, SMH was a fib extension, SPY fib extension, even QQQ. We go here, and guess what? It's the 605, right? It still is a resistance zone that it basically hit. So everything hit resistance. This is why we're seeing some struggling to break into all-time highs. This is a normal process after a massive run, and I think it's extremely bullish to experience this pattern. So we're just going to have to be a little bit more patient until things break out, but it doesn't mean things are going to collapse. So.
And at the same time, like that VIX chart I showed you, it's just like bouncing against that support level, and not quite ready to break through there. But you know, everything, it seems to, they love to just run up. Everything runs into resistance at the same time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I switched microphones. Hopefully this is going to work better. I wanted to show
you just sound like you're in a tunnel now, but it's a lot better than static. A lot better.
It's better than static. I'll show my SPX chart, and then we can move on to talk about individual stocks, I suppose. But here, the SPX, if you look back here, you know, in the period leading up to COVID, you know, we had there's already kind of like a big dip that runs up, and then you have COVID, and then it kind of looks a lot like this section right here, where things were running up, and then we had a dip. That was, let's see, well, this is the April 7th dip. This is the big April 7th. But before that, we had a run, a little dip into the, that was the October 30th, 2023. And then it runs for a while. And then we have the big massive COVID dip. And then after the big dip that we had from COVID here, sorry, that's a COVID, this one's April 7th. So after COVID, and then it's tariffs, but look how long after this big pump and then a drop and then a pump and then a huge drop, how long it ran along this arc. It just kind of went up and up. There's just a couple places where it like breaks down. It just touched the weekly Ichimoku baseline, just barely grazed it here. And the rest of the time it just kind of played with this arc and then the conversion line the whole way until it finally did give up the ghost here. And look, this is like the same arc, and we're only just here. I mean, and then you can see how the Ichimoku, the green cloud, just kind of basically just played keep away the whole time. I've got this stuff in here. Let's just look and see if this cloud doesn't just keep building and building and building up, and we never touch the cloud. And we'll see, you know, how long this weekly conversion line can just keep holding up as support, really. And that would give us the same kind of run, pretty much. If we did get a little pullback here, I was just running my own fib extension levels, and I kind of just decided, well, I'll look at it from, let's see, I want to give you an idea of what, this one just runs from SPX 78. Well, you know, SPY 78.4 to SPY 55.67, and then yeah, and then it extends from this from the 100% extension to this anticipated 114, and I subdivided this into more. It's all to the right here. Hang on a second. I just want to turn this to. I'll extend the lines right. So here, I subdivided from the 100% to the 1.114, and I'm just watching to see what it does in here. Maybe we kind of get stuck at the 786. I remember, I think just as recently as a month or two ago, I was saying I was watching for SPX 666.66, and well, we're just about there. But now that we're here, it really feels like it could just keep going a little bit longer. So now I'm looking for 6779, and either maybe it just keeps running like it did, you know, back here. There's a little sketchy place here and here. Not our big sketchy place here there yet. So if we do get one, maybe from 6779 back to, well, you know, if it's going to stay on the top of the conversion line, it did touch the baseline that one time. I don't know. I will watch for 65.27 as support, and then if that gives, then maybe 63.55. You know, just in an analog, I was playing with CoreWeave today. Oh wait, if I do this, it's gonna. I just have to remember not to talk when I'm loading it because I'll lose. And I was looking for CoreWeave to just
come back to this 618 right here. And what it did end up doing was it went back to the 50% level. I wasn't looking for it to pull back that much, but maybe it will. So anyway, back to SPX. Let's do 60. Anyway, that's the level I'm looking for. If it doesn't, 65.27 for support after 67.79. If it has to, it could pull all the way back to 63.55, and then that would be it. And then from there, it would go on to past this 100% level. Well, it would be to the 114 here. So, and then who knows? Maybe it just keeps going. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this is what we're. And then when you look at what's going on, like the SMH and all that, I mean, the AI stuff is just getting started. I mean, basically, we're watching them build like the Apple computers and the TRS-80s. If anybody is as old as me, you know what that means. Like the Apple II was a very basic personal computer, and so was the TRS-80. I mean, basically, I mean, your telephone's like 1,000 times more powerful than the TRS-80. And yeah, the data center build-outs and then the energy build-outs you have to do. I mean, we're going to have, instead of building like a huge, you know, infrastructure program where they build all the highways and bridges, we're going to do this huge infrastructure program where we build out all of our energy grid and then these data centers. Yeah, and NVIDIA is just going to, you know, they're going to be printing money the whole way. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. The SPX, it looks like it could just keep going. You know, look, this is XPX 9100. Do I have the 4618 on here? Yeah, the 4618 is way up there. This is a period where we are between the 2618 was 7884, the 3618 was 5677, and then eventually we'll go into a new era, you know, if we're still using the stock market 10, 20 years from now. Then yeah, the 4618 is the next era that we're just getting into here. Anyway, that's all I want to say about that for now. Take it away, anybody. Otherwise, I'll start talking about some individual stocks and stuff.
Yeah. Let's move on. Somebody asked about the HSI. Did you want to talk about that, Kat?
Yeah, sure. I can talk. I'm gonna move on here real quick because I want to talk about a lot of different things. So I'm just gonna keep speeding it through. If you can forward the screen over to me, and I'm just gonna keep doing it. All this craziness here. This is the HSI here, Hang Seng Index. What you're seeing here is a big giant cup over here. And I want to talk a little bit more about a few things here to kind of set the tone. Number one, I'm going to talk about the international market. HSI using Alibaba as a poster child, and also maybe talk a little bit about a couple of Chinese stocks here. Number two, I'm going to talk about the Nikkei. Everybody's talking about how there's going to be a yen carry trade that's going to come, and it just keeps on coming, and it doesn't come, and it's just like really frustrated. And I don't know why it didn't come, and it's just really, really, really annoying. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, and then finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Palantiring stocks, and also maybe talk about the miners because a few of them are actually Palantiring right now. That, without further ado, you can see that this is a big giant cup over here that the Hang Seng Index is forming right here. This is a monthly chart. It formed double bottom over here with a beautiful back test over here. You can see everything is working out very, very beautifully. You can see that it's also broken above the monthly Ichimoku cloud over here. And you can also see that if you do the monthly Bollinger Band, the upper Bollinger Band is expanding. The lower Bollinger Band is kind of contracting a little bit. I guess it's just not as impulsive here as I would like to see it to be. But regardless, back in September, when with this big giant green candle over here, you know, I thought it was going to be having some consolidation over here, but I really thought that 2800 was going to be the target. And we're about a year later, I think we're getting pretty close to it. I don't know what's going to happen around 2800. It's going to trend line over here, maybe some resistance. 0.786 is a very strong resistance. This is a previous all-time high over here. This is the October 2022 cycle low over here. That's going to be very, very strong resistance over here in 28,000. I don't know what's going to happen. It might end up consolidating over there. It might end up having a little bit of rotation away from China to other things. But I think that once it hit that level, we have to see how it reacts. If it pushes through, then some pretty crazy stuff can happen. If it doesn't, then the cycle might be over for China, and I would be maybe a little bit more cautious for Bitcoin and other things as well because of the Chinese liquidity. Based on the way that they're looking right now, it looks like they just want to keep pumping stocks up. So I'm not really that worried about that right now. With that said, look at Alibaba. It is hitting a very key resistance over here, 0.618. Remember a few months ago during this bull flag over here on low volume over here, you knew that it was going to find support over here at 0.382. Adam and Eve breakthrough back test. What it's going to do on decreasing volume on a bull flag over here and a back test of a very important fit level is going to move. Exactly what happened over the last 3 months. Nothing surprising there. The question is what's going to happen now? Well, it's hitting resistance over here. A lot of people are going to take some profits here in 0.618. And on top of that, you did end up entering the Ichimoku cloud, which is not a bearish thing, but just take one level at a time. Currently is a pretty important level. You do have a bullish expansion, so I favor Alibaba is going to have some further bullish continuation here, but maybe some further consolidation here might happen before breaking up. How far does it go? Does it have to go back to the 0.5 back test it? Maybe, maybe not. You do have a bullish expansion over here. You are hitting some of the higher fit level targets over here, so you might just end up keep on going up a lot higher over time. We will see. I do want to just go ahead and skip to the Japanese market here, which is the Nikkei. The Nikkei is very bullish. This is the monthly chart. It goes through cycles of bullish band contraction and expansion. It is just starting to expand. Now, if you have increased liquidity with the global markets here, with the Hang Seng Index and with the Japanese market here, bullish band expansion or breakout candle into all-time highs here, I really don't see any possibility of the market really topping here. And I think all of those talks are kind of, unwarranted because the bullish band is just now starting to expand after building up energy for about a year and a half over here with a touch of the 20-month moving average, with a touch of the lower Bollinger Band. This thing looks like it's ready to go up a lot higher. And that's what I see. So I cannot really be too entirely bearish about the market right now. Speaking of which, another couple of reasons to why I'm not bearish about the market is because we are looking at a lot of stocks that are doing something called Palantiring. What do I mean by Palantiring? What I mean by Palantiring is this, is when you have a stock that, if you do a cycle high, a cycle low over here, if it ends up breaking some of the key log fit levels here, such as 0.76 and 0.86, and if you end up having a very, very huge move on the way up here with full monthly bullish band expansion, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to have some escape velocity here. You're going to hit some of the higher fit levels up above. And look at what Palantir did after it hit escape velocity. Broke about the 0.76, broke about 0.86. Full bullish band expansion continued to just keep putting up non-stop for about the whole last year, about the last 12 months or so. And right now we're even at the process of pushing through to 1.618, very possibly closing a month about the 1.618, which makes some of these higher targets possible. So that's what I meant by Palantiring. Now, if you're looking at a list of Palantiring stocks here, the first Palantiring stock that I was talking about was Robinhood. This is one of the first ones that really is playing up beautifully after it broke about the 0.76 over here and break about the 0.86. Looks like more all-time highs here is possible. Some of these higher fit level targets above is possible, but we'll have to take one level at a time, obviously, depending on the liquidity condition. The other one that I was, looking at the possibility of Palantiring, and it didn't really seem to be thrusting up quite just yet, is Coinbase. What you're seeing here at Coinbase is initially you do have a little bit of bullish band expansion, but the last 2 months it's done nothing, so you're not having a little bit of a contraction here again. But with that said, if you're also looking at the fit levels over here, it is still trying to battle the 0.86 here. I do think this month's probably end up closing back about the 0.86 if we do, and if we end up having enough of a back test over at the Ichimoku monthly Tenkan over here, which currently looks like it just looks like a launching pad over here as far as I'm concerned, then further velocity to the upside can happen, and you can have some pretty explosive move up here to the upside here. I'm looking for a bullish expansion, which simply hasn't really happened yet. But this at higher fit level is challenging 0.86. I am still pretty bullish on this. This is one of those Palantiring stocks that is kind of taking a break from Palantiring, but that's okay. It's just the way it is sometimes. Silver, what's Silver doing? Is one of my Palantir candidates from a few months ago. here as well. I think it's a lot better to illustrate that with a 3-month chart because the cycle is a lot longer for these precious metal. What is it doing right now? A big rounded bottom thing going on over here. Bollinger Band is expanding. It's pushing through to 0.86 right now. What it's going to do is probably going to go Palantiring too. Maybe some of these hard targets could get hit this cycle over here as well. So this is also seemed to be working out. I'm just going to go through the rest of them here real quick. Okay, Galaxy Digital here. Ooh, this looks weird because it's 3 months. But guess what? If I just pull back on the monthly here, Bollinger Band's expansion is happening again. This thing looks like it's wanting to hit escape velocity. If I do the top and the bottom over here, you can see how it's really challenging and maybe breaking the 0.86 here for good, about to enter all-time highs over here. This stock is indeed Palantiring. One that is capturing everybody's imagination, and this was my number 3 candidates for Palantiring here, was IREN. IREN now finally has a full Bollinger Band expansion. I was eyeing IREN break through the 0.86 over here the last couple of months, and as soon as it broke above, you have escape velocity, and right now the full Bollinger Band expansion is happening. Right now it looks like it wants to hit some of the higher targets up here above. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a pretty bullish chart over here that I'm seeing. Palantiring candidate that's also coming up, CIFR full Bollinger Band expansion over here, breaking the 0.86, all-time high is coming. As far as I'm concerned, you might have a little bit of resistance here. You're a little bit overextended, so it is possible to get rejected here. But I think after hour there's some news and it kind of pushed up to the resistance level up above to previous all-time high. We'll see whether or not that does anything good there. Eventually, I think it's going to push through. What else is Palantiring right now? SOFI, that's my candidate here. A couple months ago, I mentioned that if it breaks above the 0.86. Couple months ago, what's going to happen is going to go Palantiring, full Bollinger Band expansion, push through to 0.86, and now it's making all-time highs, right? AFRM, what is it doing right now? AFRM is in the process of trying to Palantiring. It's got the Bollinger Band expansion. It's trying to hit some of the higher level up here at 0.76. Is trying. It has not really been doing that quite just yet, but is in the process of doing it. Another candidate I have right here, what is it? Shopify. What do I have here? If you look at the Bollinger Band expanding, it's pushing through 0.86. Looks like this thing is wanting to make some all-time highs here too. It looks pretty decent here. Palantiring stock, Roblox. What is Roblox doing right now? Full Bollinger Band expansion, trying to push through an all-time high here. Having a hard time breaking above. We'll see whether or not some of the other stocks, have a hard time breaking about the previous all-time high here. But Roblox is also Palantiring because it's break through a lot of these higher levels, just simply a little bit too far, too fast. But that's what it's doing right now. What is another candidate I have? FUTU. A couple months ago, I said that if FUTU ends up breaking about the 0.786, it's going to hit some of the higher targets up here. It broke the 0.86 over here, just consolidating sideways over here because it's been a little bit too far, too fast. The Bollinger Band looks like it's a little bit more expanding than contracting here. Looks pretty good, right? Nets, another one of my Palantir candidate. What happened? Talked about it a few months ago. After it broke the 0.86, it's challenging all-time high right now. It's making all-time highs. It's just one of those things that you just have to be, I can't make this stuff up, I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. Ethereum, looking at the Bollinger Band, is trying to do a little bit of expansion here. It broke above the 0.86. It's trying to challenge the previous all-time high here. This is the market cap. I should probably use, the actual Ethereum chart, but it doesn't really matter. I think the idea is there. Bollinger Band expansion potentially soon if it ends up being a little bit more volatile here to the upside. And the very fact that it broke above the 0.86 means that there's probably more room for it to go up. Another one that we're looking at that could potentially be a candidate for Palantiring is WULF. WULF is trying to get to the 0.707. It broke above the 0.618 over here. It's been a very important resistance here. Broke above full Bollinger Band expansion. It looks like it wants to hit some of the higher targets above, right? The other one that also was mentioning the TQQQ. TQQQ is starting to have, this is a triple leverage QQQ here. It's starting to have a little bit of Bollinger Band expansion. It's trying to make all-time high here. It really wasn't that big of a mystery whenever it started to break about the 0.86 here again with a V-shaped recovery. Like it looks like it was going to go Palantiring again. With all of these Palantiring stocks, I just cannot be that bearish on the market. I'm sorry. Now, I'm going to shift gears here a little bit because I already spent about the last 15 minutes just talking nonstop. What I'm going to do right here, you want me to talk about miners first, or you want to just like take over and talk about?
Yeah, but what about this? Sam Bankman-Fried just said GM on X. That's bearish.
What does that
isn't
mean? Good morning? Like, is he waking up from jail? Like, what does that mean?
I don't know, but this says first post in a while. So is this a topping indicator? I mean, come on, what's going on here?
None
All
of
right.
the
Anyways,
stuff that
continue.
he says makes any sense anyway. I'm going to talk about a few more stocks here, and I'm going to pass it on to you guys, if that's okay, because I just kind of want to finish up the minor series here. And it won't spend too much of your time. This is Mara. Mara is breaking above the 0.5 fit level over here finally. Is challenging the 20-month moving average here. It's having a little hard time breaking above. Going back to the weekly here, though, it got a little bit of reclaiming on 20-week moving average. A little bit of a beginning of a bullish band expansion here. You need to wait for bullish band to expand before price can go up higher. But sneakily, it did end up breaking inside the Ichimoku here on the weekly. Looking pretty decent. I think that this is really the first time where Mara has broken inside Ichimoku cloud here for the entire year of 2025. So I see that as a very, very positive development. On top of that, if you really want to look at all the other moving averages, is breaking above the 20, breaking above the 150, breaking above the 200, 100 week moving average, still serving as resistance. But a lot of things have been broken. If you're also looking at the where are you? I really should have all these things ready because I can't. Oh, there you go. If you're looking at the anchored volume weighted average price here, you look at the cycle high. You also look at the cycle low over here. Is flipping that from resistance here to support? Like, I can't say that this is a bearish thing. Last time when I saw CIFR and IREN doing this, they just end up mooning soon after that. So I cannot really be that bearish here for Mara. Clean spark. Go and zoom back out here to the monthly chart here. It's a little bit ahead of Mara. First of all, Mara has not yet broken inside of the monthly Ichimoku cloud. It is reclaiming the Tenkan here, which is good. Clean Spark is inside and is trying to reclaim the kitchen, the red line up above. And it's got a little bit of bullish engulfing candle over here. So Clean Spark is a little bit more forward here. It's breaking above the 20-month moving average. If you also look at the Ichimoku cloud over here, it is also in the process of breaking inside Ichimoku cloud, but it's already challenged the top of the Ichimoku cloud over here. If you're into those kind of trend lines kind of things, I just can't see a trend line where it hasn't broken yet. If you do this point over here, it's broken up over there. If you do that point over there, it's broken up over there, and already did the back test over here. Doesn't matter if you do like a linear log, it's already kind of breaking out. I got a little bit of inverted head and shoulder over here. It looks fine. There's nothing to worry about here. RIOT, what I think about RIOT, I think this is also looking pretty decent here. Now with RIOT, I'm going to do a little bit of a fit level here from top here to the bottom over here. You can see that it's broken about the 0.5, which is good. It basically bounced from the 0.382 over here and is challenging the 0.5, broke through. This is not bearish. If you're also looking at the Bollinger Band here, it looks like there's more room for it to go up over here over time. Look at Ichimoku is already broken about. Like this is a little bit ahead of the other ones. You look at the monthly Ichimoku, guess what it's doing right now? It's trying to break through the Ichimoku cloud over here. So
just look how long it went sideways, basically.
It did. All these stocks went sideways for like 2 years. It's like this is like tracker, man. I think this is like a greater degree wave 1, and I think this is greater degree wave 2. I think this is the start of a wave 3. I think this is sub 1, sub 2.
Yeah, it's an extended wave 2, and now the wave 3 is going to be really strong.
Yeah, this is happening across the board, man. Like, look at RIOT. This is what it's doing right now, but it's challenged the Ichimoku cloud here almost perfectly, right? So it's in a way is behind Clean Spark, but is ahead of Mara. That's all I gotta say, right? But a lot of these stocks, like another one that's also like a perfect example is BTBT. Like, look at this crap. It's trying to break above the Ichimoku Tenkan over here on the monthly, but it's just been consolidating sideways over here, forming like a bullish rectangle thing. I think this is the subwave 2 over here. 1, 2, 3. Whenever it decides to break above, it's going to be pretty powerful. I just don't know when that's going to happen.
It's basically barcoded for 2 years.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you also have a reclaiming on the 20-month moving average over here too. So things are looking pretty decent. I think a lot of people are asking about I cannot say this name for the life of me. BKKT or PKKT.
Back.
Anyway, Morningstar pattern.
Yeah, make sure you add that vomit sound.
It's
yeah,
Mike Alfred's. It's got a pretty beautiful pattern over here. It's breaking about the 20-month moving average. It's got Bollinger Band contraction over here. It might be getting ready for a little bit of a trend change. There's no confirmation. I would like to see it forming more higher highs and higher lows before I can confirm that. It's looking better. It's got a bullish engulfing candle that engulfed the last 6-7 months. Like, there's not anything too entirely bearish about this. Sometimes these things can fail. You had a Morningstar over here that failed, right? Could this one fail? Maybe. I'd like to see some confirmation. But it looks like it's a pretty decent like base formation over here, so I'm not too bearish about that. I'm going to talk about BMNR and SBET. I'm going to pass it on to you guys. What I have to say about BMNR is I'm not bearish on this stock. I just see it hitting resistance at the 0.76 is trying to break through above. I think it will, but I don't know how long it's going to consolidating down here. I think it's forming a little bit of an ascending triangle over here. This doesn't look bad to me. If I do the 20-week moving average is pointing up, I like the monthly because initially it was just way too far, way too fast, way outside of upper Bollinger Band. That was a bad spot to buy, right? But right now it's following the upper Bollinger Band, continue to expand here to the upside. This is not a bearish stock. I can see resistance up at around $82, which is where the Ichimoku conversion and baseline are at right now. It did enter the cloud, so it's not a bad thing. But I would imagine it's probably going to get stuck in the range between like 40s and the 80s until otherwise proven. We'll see, but it's not a bad stock. Whereas SBET is just stuck in a range. I have nothing to say. Like you can just get rid of all these indicators. Which way is it going to go? Is it going to go up? Well, it's got all these wicks up above. It's going to go downward. It's got a wick down here below. There's some demand. It's just stuck in a range. I don't have anything else to add to this. I just don't have anything else to add.
Well, it's the 50% level from the high to the low point right there. Just that little section, the most recent high to the low. It's
yeah,
the 50%.
You can say that. It's just stuck in the middle, right? It's like retraced back to the 0.5 log, right?
That's not the low point though. That's
sorry.
The candle before it. Yeah, come on.
There you go. All right. So it's holding that. Right? So yeah, it's not a bearish thing. It's holding 0.5. But it's just not as as good as BMNR in terms of the technicals. If you look at the Bollinger Band, it is holding the 20-month moving average. That's not a bearish thing. But do you have that Bollinger Band expansion like BMNR does? No, you don't. So it probably will lag behind, but it's not like a bearish stock. I can't really flip like too entirely bullish on this one yet. I'm gonna take a break, guys. Somebody take over.
All right, let's talk about altcoins here. Let's do that. Unless Tracker, you have something to add?
No, keep going. You guys are doing great.
I love the comments, by the way. Is Tracker speaking through a metal watering can?
I know, apparently
why do you? Or you're stuck in an underwater submarine. That's fantastic.
Darth
good
Tracker.
times. The comments are hilarious sometimes. I love it. All right, let's switch gears to crypto now, and more specifically altcoins. And I want to just show you what I really am seeing right here with others chart, and others is including everything except for the top 10 crypto market caps. So this is a breakout of the cloud. It's a backtest of the cloud, and this is bullish, right? I don't know who needs to hear this, but we've been stuck underneath the cloud ever since it kind of broke down here on a week-to-week basis, and it broke down right here in March of 2025. So we've been stuck under the cloud essentially ever since then, except for one brief moment right here in May, but that was just a fake out and the continuation lower happened. But we're there, right? And the cloud is like flattening out. We could build a nice base on top of this cloud here around that 300 billion mark and get ready to go higher. So this is kind of showing to me that maybe altcoins don't really need to go down that much further anymore. And in fact, if you look at their lower time frames, they kind of look like they're establishing a base as well. So very nice development. All it's trying to do is break above the 786, the 324. So once that can happen, then we can start to see attacking the ARK right here as a resistance. And then once all that breaks, then it's back to the 886 and all-time highs and good to go, right? And just to give you an idea of what we're really looking at with everything else, we can also look at the total 3, which is including everything except for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this is battling all-time highs, right? It's been battling all-time highs for the past 3 weeks. Another example of altcoins wanting to break out, just not yet. It's just still at resistance. Even total 2, we can go here and we can see, guess what? Same exact situation. This is everything except for Bitcoin. This is also including Ethereum. And you know what? The same exact thing. It's trying to break into all-time highs. So everything is doing what some miners are trying to do, like what CIFR is trying to do, break into all-time highs, right? This is something that's super bullish. What SOFI is trying to do, break into all-time highs. This is doing the exact same thing with total 2 and total 3. So it's just telling me that the altcoins, they want to go, They just need a little bit more time. And it's exciting to me. I love it. I love it. I love watching this develop, and people are scared of this. And like, maybe be scared if it's breaking support. Like, be scared like right here when it broke through the cloud back in 2022. That's when you should be scared. Like, oh God, it's going to go to zero. But it didn't, right? It still found support. But we should not be afraid when things are trying to break into all-time highs. We should be afraid when they lose support, right? And nothing has ever been lost. Even back down here in April, it was a double bottom from back in September of 2024. So nothing ever lost support ever, and things look magnificent. Speaking of Ethereum too, we can just look at that chart individually and just take a look, right? I have this fib here that I want to show you. Let's take off that Ichimoku, and I want to show you why it's stuck, right? It's stuck because if you use this fib right here from the 2018 top and the November 18 bottom, guess what? That's the 1.414, which has been the top before. And it's the same thing, how it's trying to break resistance. It's just cannot yet. So this is 46.43, and this is why we're not seeing Ethereum go to 8,000, right? Because it's still stuck under this previous resistance of the 1.414 from that cycle high, right? But if you do look at the Ichimoku here, we can see that it did finally went to go down and touch that conversion line, right? We can zoom in here and look at that. For the first touch since it really broke out in July. That is not a bearish situation at all. This is very, very nice. Also, when we go here too, from the 2021 top for Ethereum, from the high to the low, we can see it almost even touched the 886 again. Not quite. So people are like, oh, it missed it. Is it going to touch it? Well, I mean, Cat likes to play a game called Just the Tip, right? And here it is, right?
What?
Wow.
Look at that. See, just the
Are we playing right now? That woke me up. Sorry. No.
Yeah, see, there's a tip. There's a tip. See, the tips did touch. All of these little tippy tips touch. So perhaps we do not need to go back down to the 886 at all. I think what we could experience now is just a bottoming process for Ethereum, a bottoming process for others, and a bottoming process for the rest of crypto. And to expand on that, we can just go to more coins individually here and just take a look at Dogecoin. And Dogecoin is, when we look at the weekly cloud, yes, it did close back below the 618, but this is a healthy development, and we can add on the moving average too. It's just getting liquidity again below that 50-week moving average and the conversion line there. And on a month-to-month basis, guess what? It's inside the cloud, and it is just in a new territory for the past 2 months now, getting ready to get more bullish to break above this monthly baseline, monthly conversion line, which is at the 28-cent zone. It did try to break above already, but it failed. So that just means more time. Like, all of this means with every chart is just more time. Nothing about it is bearish at all. Nothing at all. So with Doge, let's just keep watching this 24-cent zone. Keep trying to stabilize above it, and that's fine. ADA, we can see it's just backtesting the cloud over and over again. And it's even at that 50% level right there at 82 cents. This is not bearish. This is trying to build a base at a higher level. We can look at XRP too. XRP is so scary, right? Well, it just is stuck, sandwiched in between the baseline and the conversion line here. So the 263 up to the 303, even this 2.272 fib at 310, that's kind of a resistance too. But again, not bearish. It's like one of the few coins that actually has not even touched the weekly cloud at all since it broke out last year. So that just shows how explosive it's already been, and which is why we're seeing a longer consolidation before the next leg higher, because it already had a massive move compared to other charts. Right? We can even look at Solana too. Solana is backtesting levels, right? It's backtesting maybe the 702, the 211. Big breakout. Could not hold the 786 here from this previous January high and the low. So now we'll watch 211. Even a backtest of the cloud would not be bearish, right? That would be 196. That's fine. Breakout backtest would be really healthy. Link, I love what Link did actually for this chart. It finally retested the 618, 2111. It looks beautiful. I just want that to hold. Even if it went down to touch the cloud, 1950s, I don't care, right? That's a bullish chart. Big breakout. Now we're just consolidating, trying to establish a base at a higher level. It's not bearish. Right? We can even see Fetch. I always show Fetch on the monthly chart because look at that. It's still trying to build a base on top of the monthly cloud. And it's something that's not bearish at all. I even made a post earlier today. I don't know if any of you saw it, but I compared it with ETH and the Fetch ETH chart here. And what do we see with this chart? We'll just take everything off. From the high to the low, look at that. It's bottoming right around that 236. And the last time it kind of bottomed around the 236, it spent a few months down there, but it was go time. Right, so this is something that could be in a bottoming process against ETH and could start to outperform maybe something like AVAX, right? We can even take a look at AVAX and see how that's doing. And it's just getting rejected here at the 35.58, the 50% fib, and that's not bearish at all. Also on the weekly chart for AVAX, we can go take a look here that it broke above the 200-week moving average and it back tested it already last night. Breakout back test, it just can't break above the weekly cloud or that 35.58 just yet, right? And lastly, I'll just take a look at HBAR too, because HBAR is also looking mighty healthy, right? It's trying to break free of the cloud again, and it's just back testing the baseline and the arc there, and the bottom of the clouds around 22 cents. So technically speaking, none of these charts look bad. They all look very healthy, and they all look like they're in preparation of just establishing a new foundation. And mainly because when you look at the others chart one more time, it's just building a base now on top of that cloud, which is telling me that there's not much more pain left in the altcoins. It's just a boring consolidation, which people will say to themselves, oh, it's not going higher, so that means it's going to break support again, right? That's what people say to themselves all the time. But this is simply not true, because it's in a new territory once again, a breakout back test, and everything else is just holding levels perfectly. So it's just a matter of time. And it's exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
very exciting.
If you're out there and you want to get a feel for what the market is like and what it's going to become like, just like pick any stock, any tech stock or crypto related stock, and just like try to track it for a whole day. Like watch the price action during the day. And it's like a microcosm of what's happening with the total market overall. Lots of higher highs and higher lows, and surprising reversals, but then followed by another surprising reversal, like from the upside to the downside and back to the upside again.
Yeah,
I spent a bunch of time watching CoreWeave and BTBT the last few days. It's been kind of fun going back to my roots. And I can definitely get, a sense for the whole market for, going here from the future from that.
Yeah, all those stocks are behaving very nicely for a risk-on environment, really. So nothing is scaring me at all. The only thing that people are asking about, well, what about gold? What about gold? It just keeps on going and going and going. I mean, that's fine. I think let it keep going, right? We can look at my monthly chart. Look at that. It broke the Gann arc, and it actually confirmed it last month. So that allowed continuation. So I just think just let it go. Because once it starts to top, I think that's when fun stuff is really going to happen too.
Remember that gold is also an industrial commodity. And so while some people are hoarding it because they're buying, they don't really buy the gold. They buy contracts for the gold. But
yeah.
They're actually, semiconductors use gold for their work too, and other industries. So it's all getting bought up by AI infrastructure build out.
Yeah. I mean, this is literally the everything rally. Like nothing is not rallying. SMH at all-time highs, QQQ, SPY, IDBM's trying to break out. There's nothing that's not trying to break out anymore. Right. So this is truly the everything rally, and just let it happen. Right. Don't fight it. And I see people trying to fight the trend all the time, like trying to guess the top. I'm like, what's the point of that? Right. You want to be like a short-term hero caller and be like, yeah, I nailed the short-term top. And then like months or weeks later, it just goes into new all-time highs again. I don't know. I mean, I tried to say this looks like distribution for 4 months in a row, but I got a confirmation candle that proved otherwise, right? Once you get a confirmation candle that closes above levels, then you got to just like change your thesis. You're like, okay, maybe it's not done yet. And that's exactly what happened. So,
yeah, if gold keeps on going up, that actually, to me, means the cycle might last even longer.
Like maybe 100 years, right? Like a minimum of 150, maybe.
It's crazy. I don't even know. I don't know how high it's going to go. But like right now, it broke again. Like honestly, the resistance is going to be a lot higher. So.
And the next level is up here at 7,500. Is that where it's going? I mean, who cares?
It just becomes more and more rare until they find a big supply of it.
Yeah, or imagine whenever it ends up actually topping and it rotates into other things. Like, can you imagine that? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's going to just boost everything. All of these risk on stuff, it's going to boost it up.
Yeah,
even more.
Maybe it's just maybe it's like a macro cycle, because last cycle, whenever it go top was when things got really fun for the rest of the stuff. Maybe this is just like a different phase of the cycle where everything just goes up, including gold, including silver. I mean, we spotted a couple months ago that silver is going to go Palantiring, so it actually makes sense for gold to break into all-time highs. I mean, like in hindsight.
Yeah. And look at how long it was suppressed from COVID high right here. Like so many levels it tried to break above, but finally, once it was set free 3 years later, it had a lot of built up energy, I think. So that's why we're just seeing it keep breaking resistance levels, which it's fine. It's not a worrisome sign for me. I just think, like you said, it's just going to make things last a lot longer. And the emotional investor said central banks buying gold M2. I mean, who knows? Maybe, right? They can be buying anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day they can make gold like they're making diamonds right now. No, I don't know. It's just. But yeah, I do have. I guess I can start going through some of the chart requests. I can talk about Fartcoin and then talk about like some of the other requests that some other folks have, and then we can.
Lightning round.
Yeah, we can kind of end the show here. This is Fartcoin. I got as much price history as I have with it. This is the fib level that I have. Honestly, Tracker, you're the Elliott wave expert. So I'm basically looking at the wave 1 over here. Wave 1 got exhausted. This is wave 2 correction. And I think wave 3 is starting. This is sub 1 of 3. This is sub 2 of 3, I think. And it's holding a pretty decent level.
Pretty much like,
Go for it, man.
Clearly 5 waves up on the left-hand side to 2025, and then you have like, instead of like it almost looks like a 5 waves back down again instead of ABC down.
Yeah.
5 small waves, and then 5 waves back up again. So it's what's that pattern called? It's 5 waves up, 5 waves down, and 5 waves back up again. But you're right. It's overall, it's been a long sub-wave 2 before it goes into a much larger degree wave 3 here.
Yeah, and it's finding a pretty decent support level. I also want to kind of show that, because if you're looking at this wave 1, wave 2 retracement back to the 0.5, like this is completely expected, right? For the wave, sub-wave 1 of 3, normally I would expect to be a little bit more impulsive, but it did get back up to 0.86, which is not bad. Retrace to 0.707 is not bad. I just want to kind of show you here too. It's interesting. Remember the 1 and 2 went back to 0.5, right? If you look at this being the 1 here, and that being the 2, if I do the peak from the bottom over here, it retraces essentially close to 0.5. If you're also looking at the other exchanges, it's already hit the 0.5 over here on crypto.com. Is hitting close to it, and Kraken is just got really close to it on, it just looks like it wants to kind of hold this area because it was the 0.707 on a greater scheme of things, and this is like the 0.5 retracement back to basically an inverted head and shoulder over here with a back test. It looks like a pretty important level here. Now, is it going to be the bottom? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know whether or not anybody does, but it just looks like one of those things that I don't mind buying and trying to catch a falling knife on like a sub wave 2 or 3, which could potentially be pretty powerful. I cannot guarantee you that, right? But that's the reason why I've been like having kind of like a small position, like a few $1,000s, just to see where it goes. But that's kind of what I'm seeing with Fartcoin. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. This is the overall picture that I'm seeing. Can it go a little bit lower? Sure, but I think this is a pretty decent liquidity zone over here. I think as soon as it kind of broke down underneath the 0.618, I was like, oh crap, it's going to 0.5, isn't it? As soon as it broke down over there, I was like, yeah, okay. And it kind of goes along the fact that the entire crypto market is also very, you know, not euphoric at all. So I'm in it. We'll see. I just bought a little bit more, like 60 cents. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, we didn't even look at a Bitcoin chart today, but basically, Bitcoin is doing an extended wave 2 down.
Yeah.
Like it just went a little. It made it look like the wave 2 was done. It was going to wave 3, and then it fell over and made a slightly deeper wave 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bitcoin overall.
You have to look at it like a.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin overall on like a smaller picture here, I think is finding pretty decent support here too. I have a FIP channel here that's worked out pretty well. I basically drew the bottom from COVID as well as the cycle bottom over here. Looks like pretty decent, you know, FIP level has been retracing pretty well. It's holding the 0.236 right here pretty decently as support. So there's no reason for me to, you know, particularly get too worried about things. If you look at it again here, I do have like a daily Gann chart here that has also shown some pretty decent market symmetry where you have this arc over here, you know, you broke through and you backtest the arc. You have this horizontal line over here, you broke down underneath, and now you're breaking through and backtesting it. Like, this is a very, very healthy price action here. There's really nothing to complain about as far as I'm concerned, except for the fact that people want to complain.
Yeah, that looks
yeah, and then on top of that, you have.
Yeah, I just wanted to hurry up and get on with it.
Yeah, and then also see like it's underneath the Ichimoku conversion, which is the reason why it hasn't really broken above yet. But it's got enough support down below. Like, for example, it's holding the 20-week moving average here just fine. It's got a Bollinger Band contraction over here. If this holds, I think that's it. You know, if it doesn't, it could break down. Sure, it'll be like 100,000 or whatever. But if it holds, I think that's it. And the sentiment's already reset enough. I feel like this is probably going to be a pretty decent area for it to bounce soon, maybe over the next couple weeks or so. But we'll see. I don't really know for sure. All right, just gonna go through a lot of other charts here. Somebody asked about GME. Just gonna go right into it. It's been going sideways. It's basically forming a rectangle, kind of like what BTBT and RIOT is doing. It's really not doing much. If you look at the monthly here, I do see some promising signs. Got a little bit of morning star over here, which is always a good idea. Is reclaiming the 20-month moving average. Last month we lost that a little bit here, but it's reclaiming the 20-month moving average. Is still upsloping, so I think it's still building up something great here. Because if they flip the 20-month moving average into support over here. So I'm just going to hold it. I don't have a big position. It's not on my top 20 by any means. I'm just going to keep holding it and then see where it goes. Somebody asked about Bitfarms. Bitfarm is hitting resistance. Why is it not going up much higher? Why did it have to retrace? Well, it hit the 0.618 where it got rejected over here. What do you expect? It's the first time it's challenged in 2025. You're not just going to push through that on the very first try, I don't think. Doesn't seem very likely. If you're also looking at the Bollinger Band here, has also hit the upper Bollinger Band. It hasn't really expanded yet. So yeah, you're going to get some resistance right there. On top of that, you look at Ichimoku on the monthly here. Yeah, the Ichimoku cloud is right there. You got rejected on that for the first time that you're challenging on the Ichimoku cloud ever. You get rejected on that. So what? It's okay. But if you look at the belly button chart here on the 2-week, you're about to have a bullish Tenkan-Kijun cross. You did push through the 2-week Ichimoku cloud and just kind of hang on top of the cloud over here. Does it hold? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It's broke through the weekly Ichimoku cloud over here too. So I think that it did do some pretty decent turn here in terms of turning the stock from being just really, really bearish to a double bottom over here and now basically retracing back to the resistance level up here above. Probably gonna take some time to break above. I'm not gonna be in a hurry to try and add into Bitfarm here. If I'm wrong, that's okay because I already have a position. But I'm just gonna see how it kind of reacts there before I go like anything like crazy on that. ALAB was one that some folks have asked. I don't see any reason to even chart this because it just looks like forming higher highs and higher lows, and I have a hard time really coming up with any like FIB levels for it.
Uh-oh. Did Cat run away?
I don't think he ran away. I think he just
His internet connection, maybe? Nope. There, he went away.
Oh no, we lost Cat.
Oh no, Cat's here now again. Yeah.
Oh great.
But we can't hear you, Cat. Hold on. Let me.
What was the last
okay.
thing I said?
You're back.
I don't remember. I don't know when I got cut off. So.
you were saying you couldn't really find any
Oh, yeah.
fib levels
Yeah,
for it.
found it.
and,
You know,
yeah.
if I just do this high here and this low over here, it's getting rejected at 1.4 and 4. As long as it's consolidating sideways over between 1.272 and 1.4 and 4, I think this is going to have some fair bullish continuation. There's really nothing too bearish about this chart. Probably just need to kind of reset here a little bit. Grab, somebody asked about grab. I had this target up here at 0.5 for a very long time. I thought it was going to just go up there. It did hit that resistance level here. I would be a little bit more cautious where it's at right now. The reason why is because it's also where the Ichimoku cloud here as well. And that's the first time it's really hit the monthly Ichimoku cloud. I don't think things usually push through the monthly Ichimoku cloud in its first try. So be a little bit more wary, but is this stock bullish? Yes, it is. Bullish expansion here on the monthly. So just be aware that it probably end up being consolidating there for a little bit longer. The trade desk here, I don't know, man. Looks like it wants to form a double bottom. Maybe this is an Eve, but you have a bullish expansion. Price got rejected here, the 20-month moving average. Maybe it's doing one of these things. Maybe it's going to go down a lot more. I do not know. I just don't have any confirmation to say that this is necessarily bottom because it broke through the monthly Ichimoku cloud, also broke through the 2-month Ichimoku cloud. It doesn't have a 3-month Ichimoku cloud to look at. I mean, I can try to find support, but I think I'm just be like forcing it. I don't have a good enough read here for me to want to get into the trade desk at this moment. It's just, you know, a little bit iffy for me. So I'm probably just going to end up like leaving it alone for now. But it is at a pretty decent liquidity zone down here. I just don't know whether it's going to break down because it's showing a lot of weakness. It just got rejected here. About a 20-month moving average is a little bit negative sloping here. So nothing good is happening yet over the next few months. Probably be a little bit more patient with this one here. ZIM? I don't know. I'm not going to be able to get through everything. I think somebody at the beginning asked about CRWV. I'm going to look at that. I don't have much to chart here. This monthly chart is, you know, only been a few months price action. Looks like it is breaking above this trend line over here. I don't have much to add to that. If I do a fit from the top here to the bottom, it is trying to break through the 0.76, which is not a bad thing. It's probably going to be bullish, but I don't have enough price action to be able to say for sure. And then somebody was asking about kindly NAKA about whether or not it should be a potential short squeeze candidate. I don't really know what to make of this, guys. If I do high and low here, it broke down underneath the 0.236 here. I might end up consolidating sideways over here for longer before any squeeze is happening. I don't know what this thing is doing, so I'm probably just gonna stay away from it. It's always hard to make, you know, decisions on something on a chart like that. Finally, I'm going to talk about this one. I'm probably going to end up shutting up from here on out. But this is APLD. Got a fit level here. Got rejected here, 0.86. Had to come back to 0.5. Now it's breaking through to 0.76. It's going to challenge the 0.86 here again at $36.66. But it's got a pretty decent like cup and handle pattern over here. A little bit of a symmetric triangle here where breakout. I think it's probably going to break through 0.86 over here sometime over the next, you know, few quarters. I don't know when exactly it's going to be. It's a bullish chart. I'm just going to leave it as that. All right, I'm going to leave the rest of it to you guys.
Did you do PENGU?
I do not. I don't have a
PENGU?
chart for that. Do you have a chart for PENGU by any chance?
I mean, as long as it's a pudgy one, I think that's fine. Yeah.
I don't have a chart. I have to figure it out. So go for it, man.
All right. Yeah, I'll do that one plus CMG. I got a
Plus
chart for
Tesla.
that.
Plus Tesla.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about Tesla. Yeah, what the F? Anyways, here's a PENGU. It's building a boss on top of this 702. There it is, 0.029153. There we go. Just stay above it. It's going to be okay, right? And actually, this is still looking pretty healthy, right? From the high to the low here. So just, yeah, I mean, it's boring people because it's not breaking out, but I think this is healthy development for a potential 2 breakout. So could be one of the more bullish ones, right? Just keep staying above that 0.29. That's about it. So yeah, let's do CMG and then I'll talk about Tesla and Chipotle. Well, it's bearish. Moving on. Just joking. Well, no, here's an example of got rejected at resistance not once but twice on the monthly chart. And guess where it's going? It just broke below the 50-month moving average, and that's a trend change, right? It has not closed any monthly candles below it since a long time ago, back in 2017. So essentially, that's where I think it's going, back towards the cloud, 34.60s, maybe even the ARK again, where the 100-month moving average is $29. That could be the target, but bearish chart. And I don't understand the reason why people want to try to bottom fish stuff like this, that it doesn't have any more high time frame momentum. Why not try to top fish? Is that a thing? Top fish? I don't even know. But anyways, I think it's going lower, and I think there's better opportunities elsewhere, and nobody wants Chipotle diarrhea anymore. I guess so.
Speak for yourself.
I still want some. It's delicious. All right, let's do Tesla here. We can go up and see that price is possibly just range bound. I have this 414.50 right here, which is the previous 2021 high. So if it wanted to go back down there, that's fine, right? And it already kind of went through it last week, but it could do it again as well. But I think this whole zone is probably going to be kind of a battle between the previous all-time high and the 414. I think it's just going to be a battle in that zone until it's ready to break above the 475 barrier, which is not ready yet. But we can put on a different fib as well from the more recent high here, just to show you what's kind of getting stopped out at right now from the high to the low. And it's the 886, the all-important 886, right? It's the 444.72 got rejected and actually nailed it. It wicked through it just a tiny bit, and so it needs to break above that in order to have any chance of all-time high. So right now, that's our range. Basically, 444, 409, that's our zone. Maybe the 415, 414 can stop around because that's the previous 2021 high. But ultimately, it's just range bound, and it's healthy. It's building a base at a higher level, and who cares? Just let it do what it wants to do in between the low 400s and the 440s. And once it's done doing whatever it wants to do, it'll break out and be glorious and go up to the 600s, 800s, and the billions up top.
Woohoo! World's most valuable company.
Yeah. Well, I know Tracker wants to talk about Tesla, and you can finish up the show.
No, I'm not going to talk about it. You covered it very well. If it just stays range bound between 444 and 409 for a while, that'll be a great place for it to, build up some expectations, then like drop a wick down below 409 just long enough to catch people off guard, and then tear off above 488 and into the up to that 611 area.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Tesla boring.
I always expect that one last FU wick right before it takes off. It just like what Bitcoin's doing right now, basically.
Those FU wicks are the best kind. The best kind.
Yeah, Tesla. Boring.
You want to show a Tesla chart?
I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to add, really. It's a little bit overextended. It's getting rejected at 0.86. I don't know what to expect. A Tesla that can do whatever the heck it wants to do. So, not a good risk-reward ratio where it's at right now. But I'm going to keep holding because I'm seeing some pretty beautiful things on a higher time frame. I wouldn't buy here though. So.
Oh yeah, it looks gorgeous on the high time frame, especially when you look at like the monthly Ichimoku, how it just blasted past the conversion line again. So yeah, it looks gorgeous. But this
gorgeous candle,
yeah, and it's tracking to be the highest monthly candle close ever, right? So if it can stay above 409, guess what? That's going to be the highest monthly candle close ever. It has never, ever closed a monthly candle above that 409. So that it's a bullish chart, guys.
Yeah, but the market's topping though when Tesla is about to form more all-time highs, and SOFI is making all-time highs, and Palantir is about,
and others charges flipping the cloud to support. That's all of that. Super
Ethereum is looking like it's finding some pretty good support. Where is that right now? I don't know. It's
that's just terrible.
Like I don't try to sell assets before they like actually go Palantir. Anyway, go ahead, Trigger.
I'll show you guys one thing that people, my subscribers have actually asked me for, is my TSLL chart again. And I kind of swore off TSLL and thought I would just do Tesla only, but then when I pulled up this TSLL chart, I said, maybe I will go for it one more time. Basically, here's my FIB extension from this all-time low of 464 to this all-time high of, it was at 4075 to this low, this higher low of 627. And then that sets up these linear scale FIB extensions on the right. And so if you see TSLL drop anywhere near $14.80 or $15, buy the hell out of that, because the next stop, according to my chart, is to be about almost $51. It's basically doing at minimum, it would be a 382, 236, 1236, 764, and then 2236. The alternative is if it goes to like 618, 382, or 764, 382. But I'm looking for an opportunity. If I see it drop back down anywhere in the $18 to $15 range, I'll probably just buy a whole bunch of TSLL and ride it up from there to this $51 level. Yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say about that.
Beautiful.
And then that would change it back. That wave 3 to the 123.6, 272, and the 1414. I guess the 1382 might be the one.
Beautiful, my man. Beautiful.
Yeah, just a little bit under it. All right. Well, that's all I got to show. Somebody asked for UUUU, and I don't really have a good chart for it. I had this chart for it last time, and it exceeded. I was looking for a 61832. It blew past that all the way up to the 786. So maybe 786. Gosh, 50% level. Maybe it does this. I like to watch, these moving average 300s and the moving average 75. It's the moving average 75 on one scale, and then it's the moving average 75 on a 4x bigger scale is what 300 is. So look and see if this doesn't fall back down to anywhere near $10. Then after that, oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong ones. Sorry, here they are. I went to 100, it went right to the 138.2%, which is where I was expecting the wave 3 to go. 100, 200, 150. This one could go to 300. Let's just say that. I don't do this pattern a lot, but I've seen it. Oops. I want a number 3. Yeah, right about there. So since this one went right for the 138.2% FIB extension, look for 100% support at 1382, the 176 about $22, back down to the 150 about $19, and then this wave 5 I project at $35. And all that is really just to say it's trying to get to the 618 resistance. It backtests it halfway between the 50% retracement and the 618. And then next it gets halfway between the 618 and the 702. 618 becomes support, so then it can go on above the 702. You give this one enough time, and it's definitely going to want to retest the 886 and then beyond. This one looks like it's a very good candidate for a big cup and many handles on the way up to much higher. So there you go. There's my look at that for the person that requested that.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks like it has a pretty big impulse on the way up there. I think it's gonna have some further bullish continuation.
Oh, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have much else to add to that. So thank you, Striker.
Sure, you're welcome. This is a fun to do the shows with you guys again.
Yeah, when are you gonna get back home?
I am. The reason why my mic sounds so bad is because I am traveling again. Yeah. So I'm just using my laptop and other people's Wi-Fi.
When are you gonna get back home, Tracker?
It's going to be a few weeks. We've got people watching the house and feeding the animals. But my son, wife, and I we're traveling the Midwest. We're having fun out here.
Nomad tracker for the next few weeks. There you have it, guys.
Yeah. Having some good old family time. Of course, as soon as I decided to do the family time, that's when the market says, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna start kicking it off here."
Yeah, but
yeah, don't. Everything's getting higher lows. Don't sweat the market. Just keep your those low positions that you bought when we told you to buy them, and just hang on to them. You'll see them rise.
Yeah, I think the Palantiring candidates have worked out for the most part pretty well. Yeah, it's just that
they're fantastic. Are you kidding? You're selling yourself short. They're brilliant.
Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you. I take that. Yeah, it's very kind of you. Matt's all quiet. I think he might be fixing his hard drink there on the back.
No, it's 9 o'clock Eastern. I gotta go. Bye.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. Gotta protect that marital capital here too. So, all right, guys. Always a fun time.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you guys. The Peanut Gallery. We love your comments. They're fun and uplifting, and they really make a part of the show that people don't always get to see on YouTube, but we get to see it here.
Yeah, appreciate y'all being here.
Live participation.
Thank you for Tracker. Thank you, Matt, as always. Yeah.
Thank
Until
you
next
guys. Have
time.
a good one.
Take care.